Very good evening. Good afternoon. You're watching NDTV World. I'm Gauri Divedi. Over the course of the next 2 hours, we will bring you up to speed with all that's happening with regard to India's relationship with Cyprus. This is the first visit of the Prime Minister after Operation Sindoor. First to Cyprus, then to Canada and Croatia. We're going to bring you up to speed with all that and more. First up, the headlines. Prime Minister Modi holds roundtable with the Cyprus president, addresses the Indian and Cyprus business leader community, underlines that Cyprus has been a reliable partner to India for a long time. It's strategy and not just a stopover. Prime Minister Modi's Cyprus visit sets alarm bells ringing in terror-abetter Turkey. Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to arrive in Canada on Monday evening for the G7 summit, marking the second leg of his three-nation tour after Cyprus. Israel and Iran trade aerial barrages for third consecutive night. US Embassy in Tel Aviv shut for Monday after minor damage from Iranian missile that struck near its branch. Iran responds to India's request for the safe evacuation of over 1,500 Indian students, says though airspace is shut, all land borders are open for safe evacuation of Indian nationals. All right, viewers, if you're tuning in right now, Prime Minister Modi has embarked on his three-nation tour. First since Operation Sindoor. It's a landmark visit. First leg of that is Cyprus, where Prime Minister Modi is, in fact, once again taking India's digital revolution global. This is after the successful rollouts in France and the UK. Prime Minister Modi has confirmed that talks are underway to bring India's UPI, that tap and pay magic, all the way to Cyprus. India now powers half of the world's digital transactions, and Cyprus might soon ride that wave as well. In fact, Prime Minister Modi's message was clear. India isn't just building at home, it is shaping the future of global finance. So viewers, if you're tuning in right now, the important part is the PM is in Cyprus. He first held a roundtable meeting with business delegations from both sides. And then very shortly from now is when the bilateral discussions between him and the Cyprus president are going to take place. So when he did meet the business community, his message was loud and clear, simple, which was that the UPI, which has been a huge success in India, is something that can be tapped by Cyprus as well. From billion-dollar infrastructure projects to now becoming a booming startup scene, all that India is now pitching itself as the next global hub, especially when it comes to chips, biotechnology, as well as clean energy. And in a proud moment, he's set to receive the second highest civilian honor, which is the Grand Cross of the Order of Makarios III. Later today, it will be the Prime Minister's 22nd such accolade. From UPI to diplomacy, the Prime Minister's visit to Cyprus is about strategy, trust, and taking India global. All right, viewers, let's now talk about what exactly is it that the India-Cyprus relationship is now going to be all about. If we were to focus on the big issues, let's put that out for our viewers to see. First and foremost, of course, this is a relationship that goes back to 6 decades. Cyprus is among India's top 10 investors, and between 2000 and 2025, $14.65 billion was the FDI that came into India. defense, energy, trade pacts are the fulcrum of this growing partnership. The reason why investments in energy as well as shipping and technology are likely to dominate is simply because of the location at which Cyprus sits. It sits at the southern end of the Mediterranean Sea, and that linkage is going to be extremely crucial, and also the fact it is very rich in energy deposits, which is why you see some of those sectors likely to dominate even the conversation that the PM will have very shortly with the Cyprus president as well. Cultural and community ties also is another important aspect that we'll come to in just a bit. But the shared interests in the Mediterranean region, what I was referring to earlier, IMEC, a huge aspiration for India, in all probability will run through Cyprus, will run through this area, which is why it's so significant from a strategic point of view, from a cultural point of view, and of course from protecting interests going forward. Cultural and community ties that I was referring to is another area where both sides are building their bridges further, and the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav was celebrated there as well. Now, the other side to it, why is this so important, viewers? One is it protects our interests from a strategic point of view, from an economic point of view, from a political point of view. The other is it also sends a very loud and clear message. This is the first visit, as I said, viewers, after Operation Sindoor. What happened during Operation Sindoor? One saw Turkey backing Pakistan to the hilt. Those Turkish drones that Pakistan flew is what one saw, and in fact, Ankara doubled down on that commitment with Islamabad, which is why this visit to Cyprus is going to be so important. It is going to allow India to build that anti-terror nexus with Cyprus and also EU. Cyprus takes the EU rotational presidency next year, and this is going to help India rally global support when it comes to Erdogan. And this is the reason, as I said, there are two aspects to this important visit. One, which we talked about, the strategic aspect, and second is this. There are clear geopolitical messages that need to be sent, and this is what is being sent to Turkey, to Ankara, which has been supporting Pakistan all along. And let me now get in my colleague Ghazali, who's going to join us to give us an update as to what all is likely to happen in this. Ghazali, talk to us about in your expectation as to, you've been working up your phones with your sources within the MEA. What are they saying about this visit in terms of some of the big milestones that are likely to be achieved? Ghazali, is my voice reaching you?
Yes. Can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, I'm saying go ahead. You've been working up the phones in the MEA. What are they telling you?
Right now, see, this is a very significant trip of Prime Minister Modi to Cyprus, and one important significant or signal could be that the Prime Minister Modi can go with the President of Cyprus to the location, to the disputed territory between Turkey and Cyprus, and that could signal that how India is going to stand with Cyprus in these hours, and also to send out a message to Turkey that they stood with Pakistan, they backed Pakistan when the Operation Sindoor was on. But besides that, that's just one part of this diplomatic trip. The other important aspect is the IMEC corridor. India has been focusing on the connectivity projects, whether it's International North-South Transit Corridor or whether it is IMEC corridor. And basically with IMEC, why India's interests are lying hugely with IMEC is because IMEC was conceptualized by India during the G20 summit when India was hosting it a couple of years ago. And the geostrategic location of Cyprus suggests that it could be one of the important nodes of IMEC project, and that is why our relations with Cyprus is very important. The other important aspect is that Cyprus is also going to head the EU presidency on the rotational basis by next year, and we already are in talks with EU when it comes to the free trade agreement, and perhaps when Cyprus will be heading the EU presidency, that entire talk will also get a flip. So from all these points of view, and India is also getting a new partner in European world, so be it in the cooperation in the sector of defense, energy, investment, because Prime Minister also met some of the prominent businessmen of Cyprus yesterday evening before being hosted for dinner by the Prime Minister over there. So the President of Cyprus. So it is very significant that Indian Prime Minister is also looking to invite the businessmen from Cyprus to invest in India. So all these investment from the point of view of investment, from the point of view of also having people-to-people connect with Cyprus, cultural ties with Cyprus, this all will get a lot of boost with
Ghazali, I'm going to keep coming back to you. But viewers, one of the most important aspects that Ghazali just pointed out, that the PM is likely, possibly, going to visit to that green line, that area which is your UN buffer zone that has been created. A third of Cyprus has been illegally occupied by Turkey for the last 50 years. And in that buffer zone, there is a possibility that the Prime Minister may go. As I said, there are two legs to this important visit. One, the strategic aspect. Second, it's equally important to poke terror a better Turkey and tell them that India is not going to take it lying. All right, viewers, if you're tuning in right now, Prime Minister Modi is in Cyprus. This is his first foreign trip since Operation Sindoor last month, and he has chosen Cyprus for a reason. It's going to send a very strong, clear message to terror a better Turkey. Ankara backed Islamabad all through the crisis and the escalation between India and Pakistan, and this visit is going to send a strong message to Turkey. Now, let me now rope in Sunil Kapoor. He was part of the 30-member Business Leader Forum, which met the Prime Minister yesterday. In the first day of Prime Minister's visit, there have been business-level delegations that have taken place, and now, shortly, is when the ceremonial welcome is set to take place. Mr. Kapoor, talk to us about the focus in the roundtable discussions that you had. What were the key focus areas from India's point of view when you talk about India-Cyprus business ties?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. It was a great special moment for me and all the people in Cyprus, and especially to attend this roundtable held in honor of Prime Minister Modi's visit. I think this was a rare and historic occasion, and I felt proud to witness this firsthand. So as soon as the Prime Minister arrived, the tone was very clear. This was not just another diplomatic visit, it was about shaping the future. And the roundtable brought together a dynamic mix of business leaders, CEOs from Cyprus, India, and there were a couple of people from US and Canada who also joined in. So the room was very full of excitement, ideas, and optimism with mutual respect to everyone. So President Nikos Christodoulis, he opened with a heartfelt speech. He was talking about his long-standing friendship between India and Cyprus. And he also discussed about something which is forgotten in the history, that at one time India and Cypriot soldiers fought side by side in the World War II. So he was remembering all those times India has been together with Cyprus. Coming back, there was a contribution by business leaders. As we discussed, there were about 10 or 12 people. He spoke about their business module and plans for collaboration, both between Cyprus and India. Prime Minister Modi, he was listening very intently, and then he spoke with clarity and conviction, and he shared India's inspiring transformation over the last 11 years. And he highlighted how he has shaped the digital innovation, digital India, the power of India's UPI payment system, where everybody can make payments very easy, and country's now leadership in the AI and tech-driven economy. He also spoke India's
Mr. Kapoor, specifically in terms of India-Cyprus business relationship, which according to you could be the thrust areas from government's point of view?
So there are a few things. One is he talked quite a lot about maritime, because Cyprus is also a global for ship management. And then he actually focused on developing its maritime infrastructure. So he was talking about modern ports and advanced shipyard and world-class ship repair facilities. So it actually gives a boost to the Cyprus, where we are doing ship management here and ship owning, so we can actually order ships in India rather than going to China or other countries. So this was another place we specifically, because we were about 4 or 5 people who were representing the shipping community in Cyprus. So this was one area. Then of course he talked about the digitalization. He talked about the forex, and then the third thing he also, in between, we discussed about how the smart city can focus about doing financing for various new developments.
Indeed. You mentioned about maritime connectivity, that does open up a lot of opportunities between India and Cyprus, particularly regarding the IMEC corridor, isn't it? That's a flagship project of the government, and Cyprus could actually play a very important role from a connectivity point of view.
Of course, this was mentioned both by the President and by our Prime Minister Modi ji. They talked about IMEC. They talked about how this could lead to increase in business relations, increase in business transportation. So what actually he came back to stress on one point, he said it's not about the ease of doing business. He's talked about is about the trust of doing business, and he focused on that. And then he brought that there is a need to trust, and then once there is a trust, then also the business will grow. He indeed talked about Make in India, and here in Cyprus also we support that Make in India. Cyprus, India is very big country and they have more resources than Cyprus. But let's combine together how we can both do business together and be a good partner in the future, so that we can gain from our friendship, a long-lasting friendship, just not something which is very short-term.
Lastly, technology and startups is being talked about in terms of a lot of optimism and hope. How do you see that, especially in the backdrop of a startup cooperation forum being set up between India and Cyprus?
I think what we have been actually working for last couple of years, there is a Cyprus Investment Board and also Cyprus Chamber of Commerce. They have been working somehow to bring more, because Cyprus is being seen as a gateway to Europe, and this Modi ji also discussed about it. Yes, we all in India see a gateway to Europe, and these kind of startups, especially the Forex, IT sector, these are the good startups where you can have branch offices, you can even do a startup here, and then you can cover up the whole Europe. And in fact, he mentioned that he is also going to discuss with EU for zero tariff. And once this happens, I'm sure there will be a lot of areas where we can work together, and Cyprus can play a very pivotal role in the future of the startups.
All right. And finally, sir, in terms of, as someone who was there in that meeting, what is your biggest takeaway in that discussion?
The biggest takeaway was that people had been working behind the scene for last some time. Not many things were happening, but now Modi's visit, I'm sure a lot of things will improve. There will be a lot of bilateral discussions, I'm sure, because here I can see in Cyprus there is a genuine sense of excitement. Top official, they are all very happy that he has visited, and actually, as he promised, although he was so busy, but he had a stopover. There's a lot of excitement, and I believe a lot of things will happen in coming days and coming months. So I see positivity here.
All right, I'm going to leave it there. Mr. Sunil Kapoor, appreciate you joining us live on the broadcast. Mr. Kapoor was among the 30-member business delegation that was part of that forum, which had both the Indian and the Cyprus business community ahead of the delegation level talks that are set to begin very shortly. Viewers, I'm going to slip into a very short break. Come back on the other side. Continue our big focus. Prime Minister Modi in Cyprus. Delegation level talks set to begin soon. We are going to keep getting you the visuals and the updates. Stay with us. All right. Viewers, if you're tuning in right now, India-Cyprus ties are set to get a fresh boost. On your screens are those visuals that are coming in of the Prime Minister being accorded the ceremonial welcome in Cyprus. This comes after the business level discussions that took place yesterday. The delegation level talks were yesterday, where there was a lot of focus on technology being one, connectivity being one, maritime linkages to be strengthened further. And these are live images that are coming in, visuals of Prime Minister Modi being accorded the ceremonial welcome, and that is the Cyprus President. Very shortly, the bilateral delegation level discussions will begin. He will also be given the ceremonial welcome that is set to begin and very soon. And These are live images and visuals that are coming in from Cyprus. This is the first leg of the three-nation tour. It's a 5-day three-nation tour of the Prime Minister, first since Operation Sindoor. And these are live visuals that are coming in of the PM being accorded the ceremonial welcome in Cyprus, where connectivity and business ties all are being discussed in greater detail. Now, what does this mean for India-Cyprus ties? What does this mean in terms of deeper economic engagement that has been talked about, and the thrust is on specific areas, whether it's technology or connectivity being one. To discuss all that, I have a power-packed panel with me, including the president of the Cyprus Chamber of Commerce and Industry, who's joining us live. Mr. Stavros. Along with him, we have Mr. Ajay Goyal as well, who is an Indian entrepreneur, investor and philanthropist and writer. And he's the founder and owner of Europe's first 5-star yoga-themed sustainable resorts. Mr. Stavros, let me start with you. We're going to keep playing those visuals on our screens that are coming in right now. The ceremonial welcome that is being accorded to the PM. He is in Cyprus, first visit of the PM since 23 years. But I want to understand from you, sir, the business ties that are set to get a fresh impetus with this meeting. In your expectation, what would be the 2 or 3 key areas that you see more focus, more growth likely to take place post this high-profile meeting?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, first of all, for the invitation. But before we start, allow me to convey my condolences to the Indian people for the tragic accident we had a few days ago. For us, it's a very important visit. The Indian Prime Minister, after 23 years, visits Cyprus. The ties of the two nations have always been strong, not only on the political side, but lately, the last decade or so, we started having great economic momentum growing step by step. You mentioned a couple of sectors where this economic development has been taking place: connectivity, shipping especially, maritime in general, I would say. But beyond that, we have other areas now that a lot of work has been done in the background, and the whole thing is really brewing and coming up to give fruits in the sectors of pharmaceutical, green energy, agriculture, academia, and health, and generally education. But for example, yes, a couple of days ago, during this visit, or in preparation for this visit, a very important agreement was signed between the Cyprus Stock Exchange, for example, and the NSE Stock Exchange in Gift City for the cooperation between the two exchanges for the benefit of Cyprus, India, and Europe. This is one of its kind agreements. Now, there is a lot of other areas where a lot of interested entrepreneurs from both sides are working on, and they are not just theoretical, but they are really tangible. And these were explained yesterday in rather detail during our meeting, which it was very encouraging way to see that these meetings are not just meetings for the sake of having meetings, but they are resulting in something really good for the two nations. The other areas where we want to be involved is obviously we believe that we have a great role to play in the IMEC, in the India, Middle East, Europe corridor.
Yes.
As a member of the European Union, we believe we can act as a gateway for Indian companies into Europe.
I was coming to just that, sir.
In Africa.
I was coming to just that, sir. You mentioned about the MOU. That's a very important part. Mr. Sunil Kapoor also continues to be with us. The MOU that you mentioned between the Cyprus Stock Exchange and the NSE Gift City, that essentially is going to open up a lot of opportunities, particularly with regard to fintech being one, as in technology being one, finance being the other. How crucial do you think that will be in terms of building linkages? I know there's the first and largest bank of Cyprus has opened a branch in Mumbai. The idea being allowing more financial leverage and more financial bridges between India and Cyprus. How do you see that getting a fresh impetus with the MOU between the two exchanges?
I do believe it's very important for two aspects. First of all, for its pragmatic contribution to all this, but also for the psychological contribution in the fact that something so important starts. It may take time to develop, but once we started and and it has started, then it will develop into something unique. It's a coordination between the two stock exchanges for putting documents for trading, if you like, in the European courtyard. So that's very important. Now, with the Eurobank, also one of the biggest banks in Cyprus, opening a branch in India, where we expect, with some luck, that all the licenses will be obtained pretty fast, and by the end of the year, we will have it operational. That will contribute tremendously in promoting also the technologies that are available right now in the two markets in the banking sector. And that by having the banking sector coordinating, that means the entrepreneurs will be assisted in their own joint ventures and coordinations.
Indeed. I'm going to, sir, ask you about India's ambitions with regard to the renewable sector. That is, I think, a very important aspect. But before that, I want to quickly get in one word from Mr. Kapoor on the aspect about the Gift City MOU being signed. Mr. Kapoor, how much do you think that will open up gateways in terms of greater fintech cooperation between India and Cyprus?
Actually, I would change it because I'm more in the marine industry, and we discussed this because I'm now a ship owner and an entrepreneur, and we discussed about how Gift City can help us. And one of the things which came to us that they can easily finance us to buy ships. So it will actually help everybody in this party that they can finance us. We buy ship which will be run from Cyprus, and then the maintenance and other things can be done in India. So this is a win-win situation for everybody. And not only this will be a startup, that there will be much more business coming in the shipping industry, and there could be a boom here in Cyprus with respect to ship owning. So one aspect of shipping funds which will come, and of course it will be easy for other people who are starting up their technology or their own startups here. They can access to easy financing from India rather than from other places, especially Europe or US.
Right. Ajay Goyal is also with us. Mr. Goyal, your first thoughts on the meeting that took place, your key takeaways from that high-powered discussion. And before I come to you, Mr. Goyal, I want to quickly now reflect the visuals that are coming in live right now, which is Prime Minister Modi said to hold bilateral discussions with the President of Cyprus. Those are visuals that are coming in. Remember, this comes after the business talks that have taken place. Now there are restricted delegation level discussions that are taking place right now. And the joint statement that will come out after this is going to be extremely important. Expectation is focused on maritime, renewable, IMEC. Those could be the key areas. And on the strategic aspect, terror and the fact that Turkey, the terror abetter, is also likely to feature in some form or the other is the expectation. Yes, Mr. Goyal, go ahead, finish the point that you were making. You're on mute, sir.
We can't hear.
Yeah.
So I'm unmuted, I hope you...
No, we can hear you, sir. Just go ahead.
Yeah, so a very exciting moment. I'm very happy to report that we are the first Cyprus origin investment bank to obtain a full license in Gift City. As I speak now, I have a team of about 25 people working in Gift City. We have a full financial license, and we hope to be able to bring very substantial business, whether it is in ship finance, whether it is investment banking, mergers and acquisitions, joint ventures, because Gift City is not just a gateway and hub for inward investments into India, but indeed a hub for global finance and global merchant banking. So Prime Minister Modi's visit is very significant for Cyprus. Look, Cyprus is at a very crucial moment in its history. It's very soon it has to take some very important existential decisions about the Cyprus problem, the division between North and South Cyprus, the occupation of a part of Cyprus by Turkish troops. Very soon, Cyprus has to decide whether it will continue on a path of negotiations for a diplomatic, peaceful solution for unifying the country, or whether Turkey will get its way and get a separate state declared in the northern part of Cyprus. So the support that today Prime Minister Modi has demonstrated to Cyprus, which has always been consistent and robust. I've been in Cyprus for almost 35 years. India has always been one of the most robust, steadfast friends of Cyprus, all-weather friends, trusted and reliable partners of Cyprus. And we all recognize that a lot of antipathy that India experiences from Turkey is because of India's support for Cyprus. So for Prime Minister Modi to come at this critical juncture to Cyprus at a critical moment in the history of Cyprus is a very strong message that India will stand by Cyprus in however Cypriot people choose their destiny and how they choose to go forward in the solution to the Cyprus problem.
Indeed. Mr. Stavros, let me come back to you in terms of the political aspect of this entire visit as well. That is equally important, and that includes some of the geostrategic ambitions that India has in that entire region. One, of course, we've spoken about IMEC, but I want to now come to the renewable sector, which I think is equally important. Your thoughts on how India can look to build deeper relations with Cyprus, specifically with regard to renewable sector, and address its energy concerns.
Well, as Mr. Goyal said, the relationship between India and Cyprus go back since the independence of Cyprus. Let's not forget that India was one of the first countries to recognize the independence of Cyprus, and that friendship continues to today. And as you said, not only on the economic, but also on the political side. And for Cyprus, it is very important to have the support of India on the political side as well. Now, on the renewable energy, and Cyprus is looking into expanding the cooperation, and there is a lot of technology that can be used in the renewable energy side. And that was discussed yesterday in the forum as well. And this is something that we continue to discuss and explore the technologies in place that can help the entrepreneurs from both sides to benefit their own countries first, and then together to continue into other areas as well, into other geographical areas as well. So yes, we continue the study, cooperation, and development of the technology on the renewables together. We have companies that work together, both here in Cyprus, but also in India, and we are aware of joint ventures that have been set up together to develop this sector. In addition to that, though, one other area, very important, I would like to stress, is that we have a very strong double tax treaty between our two nations that was written back in '94 and then updated in 2016. This double tax treaty gives the opportunity for companies outside Cyprus and India to utilize corporate structures within Cyprus and invest billions of dollars into India, creating jobs in India, and we are aware of right now that there are developments to the to the extent of about $7 billion in India, offering jobs to over 100,000 people in India through these double tax treaties that would not have made these investments into India even if it wasn't for this ability to utilize the double tax treaties. So this is very important cooperation between the two nations, and we need to keep them strong and work on them.
Mm-hmm. All right. Mr. Goyal, then let me ask you this, that as you mentioned some of the other aspects that are going to be extremely important, what according to you is likely to be the highlight of the India-Cyprus business ties over the course of the next 3 to 5 years?
I think we in Cyprus have to catch up with the speed of growth and development and very innovative, futuristic developments that have been taking place in India. So after 35 years outside India, we looked at Gift City and we said, well, this is going to be one of the great global hubs of finance. And as Cyprus has somewhat lost its shine in financial services, in being a financial services provider in Europe and in the region, India is at once emerging as a fintech giant, as a banking services, financial services giant. So I see a huge potential in a Cyprus Gift City bridge where a lot of Cyprus experience of the last few decades in being a financial center, a shipping center, a ship management center will lead to a lot of partnerships, especially in Gift City, where, you know, the ideas of double taxation and all sort of are mute because Gift City is a tax-free jurisdiction. It is a free currency zone, just as Cyprus is. So we've got enormous brain power in India. We've got a technological revolution that's happening in India. So we would be able to strengthen Cyprus's position as a global service provider once again. Mm-hmm. Moreover, given the very strong and positive relations as Cyprus joins Schengen zone, I believe it will also become a springboard and a base for Indian companies to do business in the European Union once they are able to get Schengen visas and Schengen work permits from this very friendly and welcoming country of Cyprus for Indians.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's an important point, that as Cyprus takes over the European Union Rotating Council presidency early next year, what is the kind of upside that this could mean for India going forward? And that's a question I'm going to put forth both to Mr. Stavros as well as Mr. Kapoor, but I request you both to be very brief, please. Mr. Stavros, to you first. What do you think the EU rotational presidency is going to bring in terms of upside for the India-Cyprus business ties?
I do believe that this is a great opportunity with Cyprus on the steering wheels of European Union, and it's an opportunity to promote further the IMEC, the Indian Middle East Europe corridor, and promote it in such a way that we'll start putting foundations and tangible aspects to
yes.
it in a more constructive and practical way moving forward. This is a great opportunity, and believe me, I have attended a lot of meetings up to now where all this is really programmed in order to be taken advantage, in a good sense of advantage of, in this coming 6 months, early next year.
All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us to decode the growing partnership between India and Cyprus, the highlights of which will include everything from maritime connectivity to renewables to fintech, being a major thrust area. All right. On that note, viewers, Cyprus is the first leg of the Prime Minister's visit. The second leg is going to be Canada, where he will be going to attend the G7 summit in Alberta. Now, what's really at stake there? What all can we expect from that, given the fact that India and Canada have really undergone a sea change in terms of their relations? They hit another during Justin Trudeau's time and have recovered during Mark Carney's time. To put that all in perspective, my colleague Maha Siddiqui has this report.
Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something.
From an annexation threat,
I might go up with that tariff in the not too distant future.
to punishing tariffs that threaten to cripple the Canadian economy. US President Donald Trump has deployed an economic shock and awe strategy against America's former beloved neighbor. But under a new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, and on their soil, Canada would like to respond at the G7 summit.
We're focused on the issues. We're still facing and intensifying unjustified tariffs from our largest trading partner. And the best way to respond to that is to respond at home, to build strength at home.
While the G7 summit in Kananaskis is drawing immense attention to see how President Trump tees off on a land that many believe he's coveting for its resources. However, there's another bilateral equation that is being watched with equal, if not more interest.
Who's ready to stand up for Canada with me?
These two men will meet during the G7 summit after 2 years of frosty ties between New Delhi and Ottawa.
Ready to build Canada strong.
Prime Minister Carney extended an invitation to India a week ahead of the G7 summit in Canada. Prime Minister Modi accepted the invite, and what followed was Carney defending his decision in the face of mounting scrutiny from both domestic critics and international observers.
Fifth largest economy in the world, effectively the most populous country in the world, central to a number of those supply chains, at the heart of a number of those supply chains, so it makes sense.
India's global economic stature is not the only reason why it will be at G7. For host Canada, mending ties with India is critical right now. Facing betrayal from the United States, Canada is looking to diversify its trade relationships. India is one of the 3 big economies of the region, apart from China and Japan. Canada's Indo-Pacific strategy of 2022 highlighted the significance of India in the world's fastest-growing region. Indo-Pacific accounts for more than 1/3 of the global economic activity and is projected to represent half of the world's GDP by 2040. Bilateral equations apart for Prime Minister Mark Carney, successfully securing a G7 statement in the face of an unpredictable President Trump, diverging priorities of the G7 members because of the trade upheaval caused by the United States and the geopolitical tensions will remain a challenge. In Canada, this is Maha Siddiqui for NDTV.